Do not let her leave. That's the first thing anyone said to me after a lady hit my rental car in Mexico. It had nothing to do with AI. It's also where I first understood why AI governance exists. So here's what happened. About a year ago, I'm in Mexico on vacation, my wife in the passenger seat, our three kids in the back. And if you've ever been to Merida, you know their speed bumps are no joke. It's the kind that could stop a high speed train if it tried to go over one too fast. So I'm being careful, going slow over these humongous things. And out of nowhere, this lady rams into me from behind. It wasn't anything dramatic. It was a fender bender for the most part. Everybody was fine. And I figured out, okay, I'll call the rental company. They'll walk me through whatever needs to be done. And I'll be done in probably 20 minutes. I get a representative on the phone, and the first thing out of his mouth was, whatever you do, don't let her leave. What he meant was, if the other driver left before someone official showed up, somehow the whole episode becomes my fault. I remember just standing there. I was stunned. I hadn't done anything wrong. She rear ended me. That didn't seem to matter at all. See, there was no shared system either myself or the lady who hit me trusted. We didn't have an agreed process. We were just two strangers, two different languages, and a busted bumper. And if I couldn't physically stop her from leaving, great. Guess who's at fault now? But that's the real story here. That is the moment that governance exists to prevent. Not danger, exposure. See, without an accountability system working quietly in the background, liability doesn't disappear. It just lands on whoever has the least protection. And once I saw it that way, I started seeing it everywhere. So picture two strangers passing each other on a hiking trail. They see each other 20 feet out. One steps to the side. Done. Nobody needs to file a report on that. Now picture I 45 in Houston at rush hour. Thousands of strangers, 70 miles an hour, zero eye contact possible. That's not a trust problem you solve by being polite. It's why we've got lane markings and speed limits, cops watching out for those guys who go past the speed limit. The same thing happens with AI. Three people at a startup poking at a new model. If it acts weird, somebody just yells from across the room. That is the trail. Now, put that same model in front of 30,000 employees, making hiring calls, running supply chains. Nobody's yelling across that room. That is the highway. Most companies running AI right now are already on the highway. They just haven't built the traffic systems yet. Real quick, if the algorithm just dropped this onto your feed, you probably don't know who I am. Over the last 15 years, I've led business transformation efforts across two Fortune 10 companies. I built actual frameworks that portfolios worth hundreds of millions of dollars ran on. I provided advice to division leaders when they had to make a quick decision without the full picture. Now I'm applying that same discipline to my next chapter, AI governance, and I'm documenting as I go. Okay, so accountability and scale. That's one problem. There's a second one, and it has nothing to do with scale at all. Any regular software, your Excel spreadsheet, your project tracker, whatever you open up every morning to do your work. Same input, same output every time. AI, it doesn't work that way. Ask it the same question twice, you can get two different answers. I watched this play out real time just last week at a workshop I facilitated. We had a whole board covered in sticky notes, everybody's ideas from the session up on the wall. Over lunch, I wanted to do something quick, so I took a picture and I asked Copilot to summarize the ideas. It came back crisp, better framing than I could have possibly crafted. Job done, I thought. Except one person in the room looked at the Copilot summary that I put on the board and was like, wait, where is my idea? She was right. Her idea just didn't make it to the summary. See, Copilot didn't give me an error message, no warning, nothing to flag. Her idea simply disappeared. Think about it. That happened in a flash. Here's the part that is more concerning. AI doesn't sit still after the initial prompt. It keeps learning. It keeps drifting. And that's basically what happened in that room. If you break it down, building it wasn't the hard part. AI proved that in about 10 seconds. It summarized everything in 10 seconds. The real question is whether I should have trusted it without taking a second look. Can we build it? Should we use it? Who's watching to make sure we should? Those are the three questions that actually matter. And in that room, the third one only got answered because of who happened to be sitting in the room. Bottom line, engineering creates capability, governance creates confidence, and confidence is what lets an organization use AI at scale. Now, the question is, as governance becomes its own discipline, who is qualified to do the job? My answer is simple. It's not the engineers, it's you. You already know how to get a room full of people to agree on something nobody wants to own. That's exactly the translation layer AI governance needs. The translation between the tech and the organization. And this is the signal that I almost missed completely. AI is becoming too consequential to run without oversight. The need for oversight doesn't come from legislation. It actually comes from what AI can do today. It can decide who gets hired, who gets a loan, who gets flagged as a fraud risk and locked out of their own account. So put all that together. Here's my working hypothesis. Every transformative technology hits the same brick wall eventually. Capability stops being the hard part. Trust takes over. And trust isn't something you earn once and move on from, especially not in AI. Trust has to keep getting re earned the same way the system keeps changing. So when trust becomes an ongoing challenge instead of a one time check, governance comes to the rescue. So if that is true, this isn't just an AI story. It's the same pattern that already happened with cars, with cybersecurity. AI is simply the version we're living through right now. Here's the practical version of everything I just laid out. Next time an AI output lands in your world, say a shortlist or a risk score, a report, and everybody else just runs with it, that is your moment. You already know how to ask the question nobody else in the room is asking. Ask how it was built and how anyone would actually know if it got something wrong. And don't ask it just once and move on. No. Remember that sticky note? It got missed once, and it would have stayed missing if nobody had gone back and looked. Ask it every time. That is the whole job. And a lot of the time, nobody's checking. So that brings me to what I'm actually watching out for this week: the trust infrastructure, not more policies, the actual systems, the roles, the processes that let organizations operate AI responsibly. Because somewhere out there right now, someone's company's version of "don't let her leave" is happening with an AI rollout. The only question is whether anyone has built the framework to catch it, or whether you are about to be the one who does. I have a strong feeling we're just getting started. I'll see you in the next one.